Hello everybody, welcome back to this instructional video on how to SGA Budget Request. In this video, I will be discussing how to complete the SGA Budget Request on TerpLink. In the previous video, we discussed how to get the budget template and fill it out. In this video, we will be discussing how to complete the TerpLink portion of the submission. So, to go ahead and get started, you're going to want to head over to terplink.umd.edu, which is the URL for TerpLink. Go to the Forms section here, and you'll want to begin a SGA budget application for spring of 2024. On your end, you'll probably see Start. I've already begun, so we're going to go ahead and hit Resume and just start a new submission, just to make this easier. So, let's just start off by reviewing some of this information here. The application must be submitted by Friday, February 23rd at 5 p.m. Okay, so we did receive an email from Nitya, the SGA VP of Finance, stating that the time on February 23rd at which the submissions must be received is now 8 p.m., but just to play it safe, we're still going to aim for this 5 p.m. deadline on Friday, February 23rd. This is for items, programs, and or activities that will occur between February 24 and May 2024. Yes, we're doing that, okay? And we are not club sports. we have completed the budget training workshops. I have, and we are within this value here for maximum funding we can request. So we're not going to look over this here. If you do need to look at some of these resources, please feel free to do so. Just do be careful if you're submitting an invoice or any related materials to be cautious to follow these regulations here. They're quite straightforward. You just want to make sure that everything that they're asking you to show is visible. So let's go ahead and get started here. So we're requesting funds for general operations. Go ahead and put that in. The name of our organization is WMC. Our president is Parker Johnson. His email is pjohnso8@umd.edu. His number is not this here. I am the treasurer, Brian Kuberman. That's my name. I use my work number for this, 314. And if you're the WMC business director, this is probably also your phone number, unless there's been a change at the station. And I have completed the ELMS training, so I can go ahead and hit yes there. Okay. So the next step is to input our mission statement. We talked about where to find that in the last video, but in case you forgot, if you head over to TerpLink, go to your organization's page, go to About, you can literally copy and paste this verbatim into the mission statement box here. So go ahead and hit next. This is for general operations. And so SGA wants to know what the purpose of the program is and how it relates to the mission of the organization. And you do have to relate it to non-social aspects of the organization's mission statement. So, for example, I couldn't simply just say, well, I'd like to buy, let's say, a speaker system because I want to throw a party. No. I need to say I want to get studio monitors for FM broadcasting and explain why we need that in our station. And then we want to make this as detailed as possible. So I've gone ahead and already prepared this material here. This is the mission justification. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy this in, and we can briefly go through the content of this justification here. So what I've stated here is that WMC's commitment to delivering quality programming to the University of Maryland and the broader College Park community is rooted in our continuous pursuit of excellence in broadcasting and multimedia production. Our mission extends to beyond merely airing content, aiming to provide a comprehensive hands-on educational experience in audio, music, and radio production. This commitment necessitates the regular maintenance, repair, and upgrade of our equipment, not only to meet but exceed industry standards. Our privileged position on the University of Maryland campus affords us a unique opportunity to offer students and community members a platform to explore and engage with diverse fields intersecting with music and radio. To uphold and enhance this offering, it's imperative that we maintain our equipment in prime condition and incorporate technological advancements that can elevate the creative process. So Iman, our recording studio director, exemplifies this commitment, tirelessly working to maintain and enhance the recording studio equipment to significantly enrich the music creation experience for our undergraduate students. Iman, along with his team of dedicated volunteers, provides invaluable training sessions, empowering students to harness the full potential of our recording studio His equipment requests are carefully considered to ignite and nurture the creative spark within the WMUC community and the wider UMD student body. Parallelly, Oliver Foley, our chief engineer, plays a pivotal role in inventory management and sustaining our broadcasting capabilities. And I'm not going to read all this out, but you can go ahead and read through this here if you are interested. I'll leave this up for just a second before I move on. Go ahead and pause the video if you need more time. And then Oliver D'Esposito, our IT director, plays a crucial role in expanding WMUC's reach and impact. And again, I'm not going to read through all of this, but you can read through that here. I spoke about what our historian Rueda is working on and how that's related to our mission. Now this here doesn't belong here. This is the mission justification from the last budget request, so I just copied and pasted it out of the submission from the beginning of February, so that's why that was there. That was the little text from the middle of the PDF. Then I spoke about what I need, and then why we need our music license, and this Slack license here was actually denied, so don't even bother reading that. It will not get you very far. So has a funding request for this program been submitted in one of this year's previous allocation periods? So this has been submitted before, but because this is an instructional video and I will not actually be submitting this at the end of the instructional video, I'm going to go ahead and say no. That's probably what you're going to be saying if you haven't asked for this material before. As a general rule of thumb, you don't want to double dip here. There are some very, very specific exceptions, but make sure to speak directly with the VP of Finance for the SGA to make sure that what you're resubmitting is within this criteria and acceptable to be resubmitted. So do we give the SGA Finance Committee the right to use this budget in their trainings? Well, sure, but we're not going to be submitting it, so it's not going to get them very far. So yeah, the next thing we're going to want to do is upload our organization from our TerpLink. Upload our roster from our TerpLink. So to get that, we're going to go back to that separate TerpLink page that we opened. Go ahead over to your organization's TerpLink page, go to the roster, and then we're going to want to just go ahead and export the roster, that button up here on the top right. So go ahead and click that, and you'll see this pop up here. You'll want to go to the downloads page like it's prompting you to, and you'll see our last roster request was from today at 8:31. That's right now. So go ahead and download that. So now we've got a roster here. You're going to want to just make sure that your roster is up to date before you go ahead and do that, and that everybody on there is registered with their UMD emails. I've already gone ahead and done that. Okay, so sorry about the clip there. No need to look through my personal downloads, but once you've gone ahead and attached your organization's roster here, you'll just go ahead and hit OK. I attach it as a CSV file, so go ahead and hit OK. That's how it downloads anyways, so you won't really have to do any formatting there. And if this is your first time submitting a budget, what is... We're anticipating funding during the first board. Right. If you don't provide a roster, you'll be capped at $3,000. And make sure that you have read through thoroughly this manual on financial affairs and discretionary guidelines here. So let's go ahead and proceed to the next page. So this is just reminding you that if you are asking for general operations, you need to tell them it's general operations, and if you are asking for event expenses, you need to specify that they are event expenses. So I have gone ahead and calculated what the total cost of this budget allocation here will be. Let's see, I included it where? Somewhere. Right here. Okay. So this is the total cost of our... I'm so sorry. This is actually asking about the date that we'd like the items purchased by. So, as I've mentioned before, there are rules, as you can see here, regarding what the earliest you can request an item to be purchased on is. Now, just to play it safe, I always take this maximum possible date here and just increment that up by 1. That will ensure that there are no issues with our timeline for item requests and try to maximize how many items we can have approved here. So we are requesting non-disposable items. Most of our general operations equipment are non-disposable items because they are operational pieces of equipment here that are not office supplies. So yes, we are requesting non-disposable items. Let's go ahead and hit next. Oh, Okay, well, that's funny. They want it as a date format. That's fine. So April 24, 2024. Very good. Excuse me. Okay, let's go ahead and move on here. So you'll need to upload proof of physical storage. I'm going to go ahead and attach my my document here. I'll jump back once I've done that. Okay, so I've gone ahead and selected my proof of storage here for WMUC because we do have a physical space on campus. For us, this is just an email from our faculty advisor confirming that we do in fact have a physical space allocated to us on campus and that it is secure per the standards set forth in the SGA and SORC policies. Let's go ahead and upload that. Very good. I'm going to go ahead and attach our inventory documents. We currently have 2. We're in the process of combining them into 1, so I'll be right back once I've done that. Okay, so I've gone ahead and attached our inventory documents here. So we've got all of the attachments for this portion of the submission complete. So let's go ahead and hit next. We are requesting, so what are our line item expenses? So at WC, almost always, our line item expenses are going to be miscellaneous supplies. That's for most, not all, general operations expenses. We don't really request any of these other types of services here, so I'm going to go ahead and say miscellaneous supplies. Go ahead and hit next. So now I need to do the line item justification. So for every item we budget request, we need to justify why we need that item, like we did on the Google Sheet. They would like you to do that again here. So I have gone ahead and already done that. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this over. Okay. So we can see here that I have gone ahead and done my line item expenses so this is a very broad justification. One thing that I have done in the past, because our line item justifications are so long, because we have so many items that we're requesting for, I just say because we exceed 7,000 characters here, you'll see the PDF with our justifications below, how to summarize our needs. If we don't follow, and then I just note if we don't follow CSEC guidelines, we might be fined. Additionally, I was requesting some non-web build services for an invoice service here, so I just noted that they'll see the invoice, but there's no link for that item. Then they want the total line item cost, which is this number here. Doesn't actually compute if you add up all of the totals, because I took out the items we weren't approved for. Excuse me, sorry. Right, the next thing they're going to want is the line item breakdown, so you need to write up each item that you're requesting, just like this here. I can show you again here. So the item name, as it appears on the listing, dash, total for one item, times quantity equals total. And you'll need to do that for every item that you request. And if you remember our first video, this was actually removed from my example, and the other thing that was removed from my example video was, let's see, well, this was also removed, but this was removed before submission. So this is actually an old list here. Anyways, once you've done that, you'll add up all the item totals. Total equals dollar amount, whatever the dollar amount is. And then you'll want to upload your line item documentation. Now this is where you upload that spreadsheet that we were working on before. I'm going to go ahead and do that. So that would be, at least in this case, this spreadsheet here that you are all familiar with. You can attach it as an XLS so they can access both tabs, or you can attach it as a PDF with wrapping so they can see all of the text on here. And then once you go to submit this, just add on 2 additional pages, or sorry, an additional page for the cap calculation. Make sure you don't forget to include that cap calculation. It's very important. So I'm going to go ahead and attach that. Okay, so once you've done that, you're going to need to upload line item documentation. So that's going to be screenshots, invoices, etc. So for the first one here, you're going to want to go ahead and upload your budget spreadsheet from Elms. When you do that, make sure that this includes all of the text, nothing's cut off. Make sure you've got all of your links clearly visible. You can attach this as a PDF with everything clearly visible, or as an XLS, so they can go ahead and actually see what you inputted into these fields. Just make sure you include your cap calculation page added onto your PDF if you're not doing an XLS, because it's very important that you include that cap calculation page. So I'm going to go ahead and attach this here. Okay, very good. And then because all of our line item documentation is just one document, we're also going to want to include the invoices for the associated items on there. So as you noticed, for ASCAP, one of the licenses here, we noted please see invoice billing page. So I'm going to go ahead, select the invoice here, just attach that on. And once you've done that, you've made sure you uploaded your budget template with the cap calculation page attached. You need to be using the SGA's budget template as they specified in their latest communications, and any supporting documentation. Go ahead and hit next. And in this case, we are not applying for C Funding Board funds, so we're going to go ahead and hit no here because this is general operations, not for an event that would be of interest to C. And then the last thing we need to do is just affirm that everything that we're submitting here is true to the best of our knowledge. And I'm not actually going to submit this application, so I'm going to go ahead and say yes here, just for instructional purposes. And then you'll see this final review page here. And once you are sure that your submission is up to par, you're going to go ahead and hit this little print button up here. You're going to want to save a PDF of this. So go ahead, once you've saved that PDF, once you go ahead and save that PDF, you can go ahead, go back, and after you're sure that everything is correct, you go ahead and hit that submit button. I'm not going to do that because this is not a real submission, and I don't want to create any clutter for the SGA to deal with here, so I'm going to go ahead and delete this actually. But the next thing you're going to want to do, just to make sure that future business directors or treasurers of your organization are able to access historic budget request documents, is go to your organization's page, documents. If you don't already have a folder here called budget applications, you're going to want to go ahead and add one. So let's go ahead, open that folder, add a file, in the spring 2024 folder. Excuse me. You're going to want to add a file. You're going to want to include your spreadsheet with your cap calculation page, as well as the printout of the TerpLink page that you just created. Those two things will be very useful for future treasurers if they ever need to go back and reference anything, as well as any invoices you may have used. It's helpful to include your roster, proof of storage, and inventories, but those are less important than these two very important pieces of information here. Yeah. Once you've done that, you'll see that they do appear on your TerpLink page. Good to have them there. And that is how you complete an SGA budget request. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you have the best of luck in your budget requesting endeavors.